Welcome to the Playbook. Now, it's a late night here in Carrollton, Georgia, the city of dreams. So sit back, relax.
Actually, let's get hype. This is the Playbook.
Diego Pavia and the Vanderbilt Commodores have not beat a ranked team at all this season.
Rylan Zaborowski is incredible. I feel like we're the best team in the country personally.
And I think this Michigan State team is poised for a deep run in March. I think they're probably going to win the Big Ten this year, to be honest with you.
And we bring you the best in college sports, including our very own West Georgia Wolves.
You mean to tell me these Wolves can't outscore by at least 1 point here at University Stadium? Michael, give me the Wolf head.
And Brandon Dyer tries to defend his back-to-back titles in Who's That Campus Legend. This is the Playbook.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome in to another edition of the Playbook here on a WSN Wolf Sports Network. As always, I'm your host, Brandon Dyer, the man behind the board, Aiden Abey, the man across from me, Michael Miller, and the man to my right, Mr. J.T. Groves. We have a lot of college basketball to get into tonight for this show for our March Madness special. But
let's go.
There's something I want to talk about that happened over the weekend, and that was this West Georgia baseball team went on the road to Wichita State. They played 4 games over the course of 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. And West Georgia came out there, game 1. We lose 22-4 in that one. Typical West Georgia baseball game. But we come out here, game 2. Second inning, put up 4 runs. And then Wichita State scores a run in the 4th, scores a run in the 5th, scores a run in the 7th. We score one in the 8th to make it 5-3. Wichita State makes it 5-4 in the bottom of the 9th.
Here we go.
Guy on second. And West Georgia gets the out. We get a win. First time in 12 games. 5-4 over the Wichita State Shockers. It's a party here at WSN because your UWG baseball team wins for the first time in 12 games. But there was also a second game.
Or
second day of games that happened here. Wichita State winds up getting the win in game 3 of 4 in this one. But your West Georgia Wolves, not to be outdone by the Shockers over the weekend, score 13 runs in the second game on Sunday of the doubleheader, including 12 in the 3rd inning and the 4th inning. Wichita State winds up going through and scoring, it was 6 runs unanswered. But your West Georgia Wolves hold on to the win into that one as well.
Another one.
A 13-11 win for West Georgia, moving us to 3-13 on the season. Your West Georgia Wolves are now sitting at 3-13, and we have tripled our win total over the weekend for baseball. And let me tell you, 3-13 is not bad. 10 years ago, 10 years ago in the NFL, we would have got the first overall pick.
Yeah.
So West Georgia 3-13 going on right now. It's a good day to be a Wolf and a good weekend for baseball. And while we had some parties going on to celebrate those 2 wins for the baseball team, it's a good time to remember that in a recent survey, almost 53% of full-time college students ages 18 to 22 drank alcohol in the past month. That is why Dream City Brewing Company, Wolf Sports Network, and Wolf Radio's Drink Responsibly campaign is here to remind you that there is a no drinking under the age of 21, never drink and drive, even if it's one alcoholic drink, and add food and water when you drink so you don't end up texting your ex, which means know your limits. And normally this is the time where we kick off the show. But with this being our March Madness special, let's go, Aiden.
Dunking on them like they're tendies in some barbecue sauce. Oh, my!
It's time for halftime hoops.
That is right. March is here, ladies and gentlemen. And that means March Madness is upon us in college basketball. The best time of year for college sports, if you ask me. And we have some big tournaments going on this week. I'm going to start with the Big Ten tournament. Aiden, who do you like in this Big Ten tournament?
Well, I would be remiss if the first team I didn't bring up was the Michigan Wolverines. They've looked dominant throughout the year, one of the best teams in the country, if not the best in your mind. I don't really know if anybody can touch them. There's a lot of great contenders in this conference. You're going to bring up Purdue. You're a huge Purdue guy. You have been.
I love Purdue.
Yeah, people love Illinois. Some people say Nebraska's a little team to watch in this one. Michigan State's looked really good at points this year.
It took you a long time to get to Michigan State over there.
I never forget. But this Michigan Wolverines team, I think, is the far and away favorite in the conference, and I think picking against them is a bad bet to make. Financially speaking, numerically speaking, I call balls and strikes.
So,
Calls
lucky
like it
there's
is.
an ABS system now. But this, who would you say is a dark horse in this Big Ten tournament?
I mean,
if you
if
had to pick one,
What is dark horse? Because I think that if you could still call Nebraska a dark horse, I think the way that they started out this year, 20-0, that's the most impressive thing that any of the top massive teams in the tournament have done. They finished the year cold, 6-5, but the way that they started this year shows that they have the ability to go out and win night after night after night, get hot, and sustain it for a period of time.
Michael, who do you have in this Big Ten tournament?
I think you got to go Michigan. I don't know how you don't. I thought, we had this conversation in the women's side of things last week in the SEC about you take South Carolina or the field.
It's just balls and strikes.
I agree. I think you take Michigan. Now I'm taking the field. I think Nebraska is a very good basketball team. We haven't talked about Nebraska a whole lot on the show, I feel like, compared to some of these other teams. But I do think Nebraska is one team to watch in this tournament. But, you look at Michigan, you got Yaxel Lindenberg leading this team with 14 points per game. Michigan looks dominant. I still think they're the best team in the country, even with that loss to Duke. So, give me Michigan.
So I'm glad you mentioned that women's side of the SEC tournament because you picked South Carolina in that one, and you said never to bet against South Carolina. You know what happened to South Carolina in that bracket?
Hey,
They wound up losing in the championship game to Texas, so the field winds up winning that one. JT, who do you have in this Big Ten tournament?
I mean, the boys already said it themselves, and I don't see a reason to go with any other team but Michigan.
Copy my homework.
They've done nothing but prove themselves all through February and the beginning of March. Almost dropped a close one to Iowa, but they just beat Michigan State by 10. They beat Illinois by 14 a few weeks ago. All of these teams, Purdue they beat by 11, UCLA they beat by 30. Looking at all of their Big Ten opponents and seeing their schedule going into this tournament, I feel like they have a clear shot to the championship, and I think that they get it. I feel like Michigan State might be the battle that we see in the championship. But you asked Aiden for a dark horse. Let me give you one.
All right.
Indiana. They're the number 10 seed in this tournament. They will play the winner of Northwestern and Penn State, and if they win that game, then they go on to play Purdue. And Purdue, I've told you already, Brandon, I don't trust Purdue. They're going to drop a game or two when it matters most, and I feel like they have an opportunity to lose in this third round of the tournament to an Indiana team. Then they go on to play Nebraska. I do think the road ends there, but I think that making it that far, I'd be worried if I was a team in March going up against Indiana, seeing their performance in this tournament and how it's going to go. Aiden, you have something to rebuttal?
Oh, I mean, my rebuttal was not in words. It was a signal of what you might have been partaking in before the show began.
Party time.
Yeah, because I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this Indiana record, and I see nothing of note. Let's see, 1 win against Purdue, 5-point win in January, and that is the only thing this team has done that has looked anywhere close to being a top team. They've lost game after game that they have had against these opponents, and they have not been particularly close. Now, they beat up on the bottom feeders of the Big Ten. They might win a game or two in this tournament. I do not see a deep run whatsoever for this Indiana Hoosiers team.
I mean, I did mention they only make it to that fourth round, and they lose the game to Nebraska.
They're a football school now.
I'm banking on the fact that they have they have easier matchups. You mentioned they do well against those bottom of the Big Ten teams, and I think that Northwestern, Penn State, I think they could be either one of those, whoever comes out of that one. And I think that when it comes to going up against Purdue, you mentioned already they beat them by 5 earlier this season. And I think that Indiana has a great shot at beating a team like Purdue, especially a team that's been falling off here more recently. Nebraska's been on fire, so I don't see them beating Nebraska. But talking dark horses, that might be the team that could be sneaky and could make a little bit of a run. I don't know.
So listen, you talked about a team that was set up beautifully for this bracket, and you mentioned Indiana and their path over there. But I think Michigan State had a pretty beautiful path here, avoiding Illinois, avoiding Michigan. They're going to get probably the winner of Purdue and Nebraska.
Purdue's not making it.
Going
That's the problem.
into the semifinals right there. Dude,
Purdue's not
going
going
to
to make it.
Purdue
It's going to be
can
Michigan
still
State
make
and
it.
Nebraska. Nebraska's going to make it out of that part. I mean, they have an easy path, if anything. They might have the easiest path. Theirs might be easier than Michigan's. Theirs might be easier than Illinois' and Michigan State's. I think Nebraska has the easiest
Well, you look at it
little slot there.
in the quarterfinals here. Michigan State is either going to wind up getting UCLA, Minnesota, or Rutgers, and they're going to wind up blowing whoever they have out of the water in that one. And if you gave me the option of facing either Michigan, Illinois, Nebraska, or Purdue, I'm not going to want to face Michigan, and I'm not going to want to face Illinois. I think that 1 and 4 matchup up there into the top of the bracket is going to be the one that's going to be your barn burner into the semifinals. I think that Michigan State can easily get by either Nebraska or Purdue, whoever they wind up facing in this one. But my sneaky team to watch, none of you guys mentioned at all, and that's the Wisconsin Badgers. They go through there. We've seen them upset a few teams this season. They've beaten Michigan. They've beaten Illinois. They've beaten Michigan State. And they split their season series with Purdue. Nick Boyd at least 21 points in the 9 of their last 12 games. And they play at a fast pace. And pace of play is something I pay attention to a lot once it gets late into the college basketball season. They have the second most shot attempts in the entire Big Ten. And they led the Big Ten in three-pointers this season and also lead the Big Ten in three-point percentage. They're almost the Big Ten's Alabama, if you will. They make 3 more three-pointers per game than their opponents this season. I think they can shoot the lights out of the building at any time, but they have to work on consistency. They also have losses to USC, Indiana, and Michigan. But I think when they're on, this team can hang with anybody in the country, and they have proven that, again, by them beating Michigan. They've beaten Illinois. They've beaten Michigan State. And they split with Purdue this season. So I don't see a reason why Wisconsin can't go through and make themselves a little bit of a run here in the Big Ten tournament.
I want to propose a question real quick. So we're obviously looking at this Big Ten bracket.
I thought you'd never ask.
What team do we think could fall short, like in their first game? I mean, we have obviously the 1 through 4 seed that have multiple bye weeks, and then we have the 5 through 8 who also have bye weeks. And then there's even a 9 and a 10 seed that aren't necessarily getting a bye week. What team do we feel like is going to disappoint us in this tournament?
I think you look at Nebraska. That's going to be the team that I feel like in their first game on the court is going to be in the quarterfinals against probably either going to be Purdue or it's going to be Indiana. And then that one, I think that they have the highest chance of losing their first game out of anybody in this bracket when it comes to some of the top 4 teams here.
Aiden, who you got?
Who have I got as a team that's going to make a big run in this one, you said?
As a team that is
that's
going to
gonna
fall
falter
short.
early.
They're gonna
Early. Sorry.
absolutely disappoint in this tournament.
Nebraska.
Wow.
I said them as my dark horse, but I really don't have faith in them. I just think I was going for a team that could be. I just think they've been very inconsistent. The last 11 games, they're 6-5. They did end strong, but as you zoom out more, I think the peripheral vision is not there for Nebraska. I don't like how they've been looking lately.
Yeah, I don't mean to be boring and just keep picking the same team, but I think it's Nebraska
Dude,
by far.
you've copied me every time.
I was also talking about how much I like them too before we got on here. But I do think if you're going to look at it this way, if it is Purdue, if it is Indiana, whoever it is, I like that's the toughest game they're going to have to play in that first round between the top 4 seeds. And I absolutely think that's definitely a spot where Nebraska could falter and come short. For sure.
Yeah, guys, and I just don't think Purdue's going to make it to that game against Nebraska. I'm going to stick with it. I think Purdue, it's came to March, and you mentioned that Nebraska has been kind of having a bad month or having a bad last few games. Purdue has been the same exact way, and I don't think Purdue makes it to that game against Nebraska. I think they get upset by a team like Indiana in their first game that they play on Thursday.
Well, see, look, I know it's been a rough stretch for Purdue, and it's easy to go and pick on Purdue that's been losing games. But these games don't matter at the very end of the season.
Upsets
I'm telling you guys. Purdue's going to come into this tournament. They're going to look good. They're not going to win this whole thing. They're probably going to wind up losing in the semifinals after they beat Nebraska. And they're going to lose by 10 to Michigan State. But, dude, Purdue's still going to be a good team. They're not going to go and lose their first game, especially not to Indiana.
That's all right. I mean, if say they win that game, I don't think they make it past Nebraska.
All right. So
I don't see a world where that
moving
happens.
over. So we have. I think all of us have Michigan in this one, right?
Yes, obviously.
Michigan's going to wind up winning this Big Ten tournament.
You'd be a fool to pick against them.
So another tournament going on where there's almost a clear, definitive winner in it already is the ACC tournament.
Oh,
And
man.
Aiden, who?
You know,
I'm not even going to ask you who you
I'm
think is
glad
going
that
to
you
win
keep-
it.
I'm glad you keep throwing it to me first here because, you know, I get to look intelligent, and then when all you peons copy the exact same thing that I say, when I say that,
Hey, you
Duke-
copied me after Nebraska, buddy. Okay.
you know, but Duke is the best team in the country, in my mind, without doubt. They got the best player in the country in Cam Boozer. In my mind, that has a doubt with it, but, you know, I'll still say it here. And this team has just looked so good in the recent date. They beat Michigan. They beat North Carolina in the last game of the year. They beat everybody in front of them for a very long time now. Give me Duke cruising over this, one of the weakest ACCs we've seen in years.
And who would be your dark horse? in
Oh
the
man, a
ACC?
dark horse.
Yep.
See, like I said, man, I don't really know. Everybody's a dark horse except for Duke in this bracket. But I would go Louisville. Maybe Duke gets an upset in the semifinal. You know, North Carolina finds a way against them in the semifinal game, and Louisville can luck their way in. Virginia's the 2 seed, so it feels wrong to call them a dark horse, but they are because they ain't got much of a chance here. They're a really good basketball team. They have a puncher's chance at best.
I agree. Again, not to copy Aiden again. I know
What did I say?
I apologize, but yeah, it's Duke again. I think Duke is. Like I said, I think Michigan is the best team in the country. I think Duke's the second best team. I'll say that. Very close together. They did beat Michigan earlier this year. Duke is, like you said, Cam Boozer, best player in the country. I don't really see anybody in this conference anywhere remotely close to Duke at all. I would have said I would say like North Carolina being like a sneaky team to kind of win this thing before their injury situation they got
Caleb
going on
Wilson
right now.
getting injured?
So with him going down, I don't really like that anymore. I guess if there's one team I would look at, I guess Virginia since they're the 2 seed, but I really don't like anybody else in this conference.
Yeah.
I don't really like Miami. I've watched them a couple times this year. Don't really love what I see from them. It's really just Duke and then the rest of the field, and I think Duke has got a very wide margin of everybody else.
I mean, I'm looking at it, obviously, Duke, number one. They're definitely going to go all the way in my mind because their only games that they've lost this season are to Texas Tech by 1 and then on a buzzer beater to North Carolina. My dark horse, though, probably Clemson. I think looking at their matchups, they'll either play Virginia Tech or Wake Forest in their first game, and then they go on to play North Carolina, and I think that they have a solid shot at beating them. Now, when it comes to it, Duke is definitely going to make it to the semifinals. So Clemson versus Duke might be a little bit of a beatdown, but I think that Clemson has a good shot at making a deeper run than a lot of these other teams that are in that first round of games.
See, I really like that you said Clemson as your dark horse right there because I think they measure up well against North Carolina. And the North Carolina really trying to find their way fast and in a hurry after Caleb Wilson's injury. And then they get Duke into the semifinals, in the quarterfinals after that one. And I've always said if you're going to beat Duke this year, you're going to beat them defensively. You're going to have to go out and you're going to have to be okay with beating them by scoring probably like 60 points. And you're just going to have to limit them offensively. And Clemson does that really well. They play defense really well. They can prevent you from scoring a whole lot of points and really good at transition defense. I think that Clemson is probably the best bet to beat Duke into the ACC. But I really do like the way that Virginia is set up down there. I think they blow by NC State, Pitt, or Stanford, wherever they get in the quarterfinals. And then I think Miami is one of the biggest frauds in college basketball. And they get by either them or Louisville in the semifinals. And then they probably wind up playing a really tough game in the championship game against either Duke or Clemson. I'm going to go Duke on that one. But you look at this Virginia team, and I think that's a team that you can put some faith in heading into March. They've won 16 of their last 18 games in that one. They lead the ACC in blocks with 5 blocks per game. And they have the best defense in the ACC, I said, outside of Duke, allowing just 68 points. One of 2 teams allowing under 40% field goal percentage and a 30% from three-point range. The only other teams join that would be the Duke Blue Devils. Again, lead the ACC in blocks. And a stat that I really love come March is rebounds. And Virginia leads the ACC in rebounds in that one. So I think this is a team that could very well even beat Duke in the ACC tournament and make a whole lot of noise come March.
Yeah, Brandon, but while we can read these brackets and we can make a lot of like hypotheticals, let's read something that's not hypothetical and that's actually true, and that's our book drive. Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting thewolfuwg.com/book drive. That's thewolfuwg.com/book drive. We're going to go to a quick break. We're going to talk about more tournaments.
Throw it on a dime. It's Matty Fresh, and you're listening to The Playbook on Wolf Sports Network.
Sports Pack is here for you, providing all the West Georgia sports content you need to stay in the game. Tune in to Wolf Sports Network every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. so you never miss a beat as the crew takes you through the wild world of UWG sports, while also keeping you updated with your local Atlanta teams as well. Don't miss out. Sports Pack every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, only on Wolf Sports Network.
From West Georgia to the heart of Atlanta, sports don't stop. So neither do we. This is Sports Pack. Sharp takes, big highlights, and coverage to keep you locked in until the final whistle. Tune in from 6 to 7 on Mondays and Thursdays to hear what the crew has to say about your favorite team. Sports Pack, only on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
From the court to the diamond, Sports Pack has you covered. That's right, folks. The new semester brings an all-new season of Sports Pack, where every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7, the crew will take you through everything UWG athletics. We're talking men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball, and everything in between. You don't want to miss it. So be sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 here on Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
WSN, Wolf Sports Network, will have you covered this West Georgia basketball season with Inside the Coliseum, our 30-minute pregame show that will start 1 hour before select home games.
But we saw his ability to make those tough shots. He is a shooter, and he was second in scoring behind Shelton Williams-Dryden.
I think we just need to get everybody the ball as much as possible. I think we need to throw the rock around.
Join us as we cover both the men's and women's basketball seasons from Inside the Coliseum.
When it comes to fandom, nothing matters more than the fit. The logo you wear solidifies your love. And now you can be a Wolf Sports Network fanatic with our brand new merch store powered by Ozier Apparel. Visit wolfsportsnetwork.com and click about. Sorry, I'm so excited to talk more about this baseball team that tripled their win total over the weekend, going from 1 win to 3 win with some tremendous, beautiful performances over the Wichita State Shockers. I was trying to come up with a name for those things, but I couldn't come up with anything that was going to be PG on the show. Let's go back and start talking about some Big 12 basketball now, Brandon. Lead us in. Where you want to direct me to?
The Big 12 tournament.
That's Big 12 is fun.
Be
Big 12 is fun again.
Wildest tournament without a doubt over the next week. And I started with Aiden a whole lot with our first round of brackets. But I'm going to start with Michael over here with the Big 12.
He's not going to know what to say.
Who do you have coming out of the wild west
Aiden,
of the
who
Big
should he
12?
take?
Well, Aiden, I need your you got a lot of options here. I feel like the last couple of conferences looked at, and really, to be honest with you, almost every conference tournament I feel like has like the clear runaway favorite. This one I feel like you can go some different options here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to lean and go with Arizona. I feel like they've been the best team all season, or the best team in the Big 12 all season.
Just pick the 1 seed every time.
Listen, Aiden.
Let him finish, Aiden.
They've been the most consistent team, I feel. They had a little rough patch there for a little bit, then they got back on track. They've been a very good team all year. I love their offense. They play very fast, very quick offense, very good high-scoring basketball team. And really, like Arizona, Houston, I think Texas Tech can win this thing too. There's a lot of really good basketball teams in this conference, a lot of competitive basketball. They really could go either way. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see any of those other teams win it, but I'm going to lean Arizona just because I feel like they are the best of those groups, and I trust them.
Now, who do you think might be a dark horse in the Big 12?
Jackson Schrader better be listening. Give me the Kansas Jayhawks as a dark horse in this Big 12 tournament.
The top 4 seed.
Nobody's talking about them. Everybody's focusing on everybody
They're
else.
a top 10 team in the country.
Yeah, but nobody's talking about them.
Are they? Is
They're
that
a
factual?
top team in the country. No, that's not factual. They're number 14. But that's still
Close.
wrong, Michael.
Nobody's
That's
talking
still-
about them.
Well, okay. Well, I'll still let you have your dark horse comment. I'll let you have that. But
Nobody's
Kansas
talking
is
about
not
it.
a good basketball team. Kansas is not a good basketball. Your best
Oh,
player
wow.
only played 20 games this season. And when he was on the court, you look at the last 5 games for Kansas. They've lost 3 of the last 5, and 2 of them have been bad losses to unranked teams, Cincinnati and Arizona State.
That's what they're
Michael.
That's what they're dark horse in this situation. They got the talent to do it.
Don't get me
Ain't nothing
wrong.
to do
I
it.
agree with you. They can be a dark horse, but I'm saying
the
that they
talent.
wouldn't be my dark horse. They're just not a good team to me. Aiden, you have your hand raised. Do
Yes,
you care
bring
to
it
share
to
with
me.
the class?
Because I think that the team that's going to win this Big 12 tournament is the Kansas Jayhawks. Because what's this team? Why has this team fallen apart in early March? There's been no real goal, no common enemy for them all to focus on. There's been, the team's fallen apart because there hasn't been one mission. We got one thing to do: go and win a tournament. A team can come together. This is what these people do nowadays. Is kids growing up playing basketball, you go to AAU and you play a tournament. You be the best player on the floor for 4 days. It doesn't matter if you showed up to practice the month before. That's what Darren Peterson has been training to do his whole life, and he's about to give you a week or maybe even a month of the best basketball that you have ever seen. I don't doubt it in any way, shape, or form. This Kansas team is built for these moments.
He has been playing good for the last 5 games, and they've gone 2-3, Aiden.
But now the whole team is going to be brought together with one goal. That's what it is. They're refocused. They're feeling good. I wouldn't be surprised if Bo Nix wins the Heisman this year.
What are you talking about? So you're taking Kansas to win the Big 12 tournament.
Yes, that is what I said. And I defended it vehemently. I felt good about my defense that I just made there.
Shouldn't feel good about it, Aiden.
Well,
Dude, y'all have been getting on me about Purdue the past 2 weeks, about Purdue losing late, and me still having faith in them. Be like, oh, no.
Okay.
They're
hey,
losing to unranked teams.
Second point.
Okay.
Bill
Third
Self.
point.
Bill Self, coach of Kansas, legend. Been doing it for 30 years. Been bringing teams together in these big moments. Tell me the name of Purdue's coach, and I'll change my pick from Kansas right now.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know.
Exactly. You see, I win the argument. Bill Self
How
is a
many
legend.
national championships does Bill Self have?
He's got one, don't he? None.
1 in 30 years. Aiden,
got
was he
one.
built for these moments or no?
Dude, winning's hard.
Was he built for these moments or no, Aiden?
He's built for him. Apparently, he won one. So, yeah, he can win. Shout out Darren Peterson. Shout out Bill Self. Jayhawks in 4.
JT, who do you have in
All
the
right,
Big 12?
you guys are taking all the top seeds. Give me Iowa State. They are ranked 7 in the nation, and I just think I just have a gut feeling that Iowa State is going to be the team to just upset everybody in this tournament. Michael mentioned it already. This is not a tournament where you have that one clear front runner. You can maybe argue Arizona, but I say that Houston might end up beating Arizona at some point. Kansas might end up beating Arizona. You really don't know. And so for that reason, I think Iowa State is going to upset Texas Tech in the second. All right, first of all, Baylor, Arizona State,
bad.
No matter who goes, they're losing to Iowa State. Iowa State is then going to go to Texas Tech, and what are they going to do? They're going to whoop them. Texas Tech is not a good basketball team. And then they're going to play the one, and then they're going to play. All right, no excuses. It's March. There's no excuses anymore. And then and then we have Iowa State going against Arizona. And honestly, I think Iowa State gets that done. It's going to be a close game. Arizona's already beat them this season, but I think that Iowa State is going to get back. It's March. They've gotten all their games out of the way that they need to lose, and they're not going to lose for the rest of this tournament. They're going to go on. They're going to play Houston. Houston's going to beat Kansas. I think that Iowa State gets it done against Houston in the championship. Give me Iowa State. Give me the Cyclones.
Iowa State just lost to Texas Tech. You just said wasn't a good team.
They lost by 9 points, and I think that they get their get back. I mean, I've already said this.
Hard to beat a team 3 times.
It's really hard to beat a team 3 times in one season, and I just don't think that's going to be possible for Texas Tech. I think that they lose it to Iowa State. And then I think that Iowa State goes on and they pull off an upset against Arizona.
Brandon,
This might be the only tournament where the 1 seed doesn't win.
Again, I'm going to go to the Purdue argument here. You've been telling me for 2 weeks.
Shut up about Purdue.
Dude,
Nobody
we
cares.
don't care
Oh
about
my gosh.
Purdue, Brandon.
Exactly, and so you don't care how I don't care about Iowa State. They've been losing a lot lately.
Not as much as
about my
Purdue, bro.
precious
Not as much as Purdue.
This guy so mad about any disrespect towards Purdue. Anybody saying, "Oh, Purdue's bad," he's going to bring it into every conversation.
Dude,
We're
Purdue-
talking about the Big 12, the most fun conference in basketball. Number 17 in the country is the 5 seed in the conference tournament. Anybody can go out and win this tournament. They're all so close.
Anybody
They've
can.
played each other. But with Purdue, that's not the case. Michigan is far and away in light years
That's
above any
because
other team in the country.
I would take Michigan over anybody in this bracket, Aiden.
Arizona.
Oh well, yeah.
I'll take Michigan.
I'd
over
take Michigan.
Arizona.
If
But that's
Michigan
not the
had to play a
argument.
bracket this tough, it gets a lot harder. Playing these tough games back to back to back.
Oh,
like you have to
Michigan,
in a Big 12
100%.
tournament.
I will say it's absolutely insane that BYU is the 10th seed in this tournament.
Hey, I
With
wanted
how
to get to
good
that. Hey, don't spoil that. That
BYU
was my
plays.
when you got to the dark horse. I was going to say that was my cool statistic.
So all right, so I'm going to give you my dark horse before we get into Aiden's. Okay, and that's going to be the TCU Horned Frogs.
Oh, that's a bad pick.
All
You
right,
can take
come
that
on
one.
now.
Could be the sleeper team here. They'll have to
lose to
play either
Kansas.
Oklahoma State or Colorado in the second round. I think they easily blow by them. But then they have that game against Kansas.
And they're
And
gonna
in the
get beat.
quarterfinals, if you had the choice between Kansas, Houston, Texas Tech, or Arizona, I would much
I think you lose
rather
to all four.
I would much rather play Kansas than any of those 4 teams right there.
I
That'd
think
be
you'd
the
lose
thing
to all
that I
4
would
of them, no
give
matter what
the-
team you play.
I'd be given the best chance to win into that one. They've proven they can beat top teams and be sneaky. In Kansas's last 5 games, they've lost to Arizona, Arizona State, and an 18-point loss to Cincinnati. I'm not buying the Kansas Jayhawks going into March, you guys. And listen, TCU, they have one of the best facilitators in the Big 12 in Brock Harding, 5.9 assists per game, 1.8 steals, so he's a good defender on the defensive end, and a great interior defender in David Punch, 3rd in the Big 12 with 1.9 blocks per game. I think that Kansas plays a lot of inside basketball, and I think that matches up well against what TCU tries to do on the defensive end of the court. As a team, TCU averages 4.5 blocks per game. I think this championship winds up being Arizona and Houston, though. And give me the Cougars. Give me Houston to win this one.
I like that pick. I like Houston. That was going to be my original pick. My original pick was going to be Houston, but then I looked at it more, and I just wanted to go gutsy with it. I mean, I'm tired of taking the 1 or the 2 seed to win the tournament. That's not going to happen. We know it.
No statistics.
It's March. We know that it's not just going to be – we had some crazy luck last year in March Madness when it was all 4 of the 1 seeds that went all the way. That is not going to happen again. And I don't think that it's going to happen in these tournaments alone. And I think that Iowa State is going to be that one team that surprises everybody, and they go out and they're going to win the whole thing in a tournament that honestly doesn't have a clear front runner.
Well, the team that's going to go out here and surprise everybody, if you look at the seeding, it's the BYU Cougars. The 10 seed in this tournament. They've fallen off of a cliff after losing Richie Saunders, their second leading scorer. But what do they have? They have a star player, and that's what comes out to play in March. A.J. DeBonsa averaging 25 a night on 51% shooting. This guy can take over every game that he's a part of. In their last 5 games, they beat Iowa State. They beat Texas Tech. Don't look at what happened the other 3 games because that is absolutely irrelevant. When they played the best of the best, they beat them. They're going to keep doing that. Give me BYU to make a deep run in this one. They're going to beat 2 or 3 teams that they.
My only problem with
got 'em in the
BYU
semis, maybe in the
is they're
finals.
not deep.
Whoa.
I like deep teams once it comes to picking in March.
That's the least
I
important
love
thing in
that-
March.
That's absolutely
You play
insane.
6
That's
people
an
in March.
insane take, Aiden.
You play 6 people in
Yeah,
March, dude.
March
You
you're
do
playing
not
your
go
best
deep
players.
into
You're
the
not
bench.
you're not thinking about depth in March. You're thinking about
Yes,
I'm going
you
to put my best 5 players out
What
there
are
and they're going to go play some basketball and they're going to win that game.
When we look at
Well,
Purdue,
if one guy is off, what happens if AJ DeBance is off for a game, Aiden?
What happens if
BYU
all right,
after
same
that?
argument for
lose.
Purdue. What happens if Braden Smith is off? Purdue is trash. And they're not going to
Hey.
go out and win
Whoa,
a game
whoa,
if
whoa,
Braden
whoa,
Smith
whoa,
sucks.
whoa.
Whoa, whoa.
Hey,
Yes.
no need to get insulting
Whoa.
over there, man. We don't. Yeah.
That's true. It's
Purdue
true.
has 5
I'm trying to
other
help you,
guys.
Aiden.
Hold on. Purdue has 5 other guys that are averaging 10 points a game. Okay? Purdue has a complete team that are built around them. I worry about BYU simply because they rely too heavily on A.J. DeBance, and that's the same reason that I have a problem with Duke heading into March is
You know
because
what
they rely
happens when A.J.
too
DeBance
much
has a
on
bad
Cam
game?
Boozer.
Robert Wright III picks it up. He's averaging 19 a night. You have a second scorer. It would be really great if they had Richie Saunders. They'd have 3 scores. They could go out there and give you 20 a night.
You got 4.
You know. No,
You
they don't
got 4 on there.
They don't got 4. No.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
else is under is you know
That's
the
what I'm
next.
saying. Not everybody on
The next leading
there's
scorer
not-
is 8 points a game. Kennard Davis Jr.
See, there's not 5 guys on this team that can almost give you 20
Everybody
points a night,
has
I
their
believe.
job, dude. When you look at the '96 Bulls, you don't say Dennis Rodman sucked because he was averaging 19 rebounds
Oh, he knew
and
his
6
job
points.
really well.
Everyone on this BYU team knows their role. DeBonta is the scorer. Robert Wright, second option. He'll pass the ball. Everybody else, give those two the ball and get out of the way and play defense. That is the role that you need when you have 2 great players like this. Go and give me 8 points a night, and we'll be okay.
And moving on from the Big 12, we're going to move over to the Big East, where we have a surprising team, the St. John Johnnies, as the 1 seed in the Big East tournament. UConn, the number 2 seed in that one. JT, who do you have in this Big East tournament?
I love St. John's. I love the way that they upset UConn just a few days ago. But I do think that UConn is the team that comes out of this tournament. I think they're very clearly I'd say top 5, maybe top 6 team in college basketball still, even with that loss to St. John's. I mean, we were looking at this team like they were easily top 4 before that loss. And I still think that they're definitely up there. And I just don't think that any other team comes really close to them. It is March, so I could definitely see some type of upset. But in this kind of tournament, I think UConn's going to finish it out strong. They're not gonna fall down that easily. They're going to keep their spot in March as a high seed, and so I think they go out there win this thing.
Did you say St. John's beat UConn?
Did I get it messed up with a different team?
I think you got them very mixed up. The UConn Huskies on February 25th beat the St. John's Red Storm 72-40.
What team did they just lose to? Creighton.
That's
on me.
Marquette.
Marquette. My bad.
Yeah, St. John's missed their last, I think it was 28 shots into that game, only put up 14 points in the second half. I was actually going to bring this game up
That's
as
on me.
the
That's on me.
reason why I had a UConn winning the Big East. I think UConn is far and away the best team in the Big East, and they proved that whenever they just absolutely manslaughtered the Red Storm over there at St. John's. Michael, who do you have in the Big East?
Hey, Aiden, I'm not taking the number 1 seed this time.
There we go.
Give me UConn, number 2 seed.
Number 2 seed.
Highest ranked team in this tournament, though. Still, yeah. Look, UConn, they're just far and away the best team, like you guys were saying. Silas Demery, former Georgia Bulldog, on that team, so love him. Want to see him have success over at UConn right now as well. Dan Hurley, best coach in college basketball, one of the most entertaining coaches across all sports.
So-
I'll fight you on that. If you want to talk about that sometime, we can.
Well, my problem with Dan Hurley is Buddy has a temper problem. I feel like Buddy just needs to go to therapy sometimes.
Yes.
There's a lot of coaches.
Yes.
that have
I
that same
get that you're
problem.
passionate and everything, but Buddy reminds
have a
me
different
of
level of it,
Bob
yeah.
Knight. Is that Bob Knight, the former Indiana coach? Do y'all know who that is?
Yeah, I've heard of him. You know, I'm not old enough to be
Guy
on
who
the
was like
sideline
throwing
with him
temper
like you.
tantrums, throwing chairs everywhere,
Yeah.
out onto the court during practice.
He made Larry Bird quit because he.
I'm gonna
hated
be
him so
honest
much.
with you. I think that Dan Hurley winds up hurting UConn in the tournament. I think he winds up getting ejected in one of the games, and that's gonna wind up hurting him. I don't know if it's gonna be in the actual national tournament or it's gonna be in the Big East tournament. But Dan Hurley over under 0.5 ejections in the either Big East or the national tournament. Give me the over on that one. There's gonna be at least one.
No, Dan Hurley knows when. Dan Hurley is smarter than you give him credit for. He knows the moments that you know.
Oh, don't get me wrong. He's smart.
Early in the season, he'll go and yell at a ref, but when it comes to March, he's not getting himself kicked out of a game yelling at the ref. And refs don't throw people out of the game in big moments, man. They're scared of making any decisions that have any effect on the game. Let's stop talking about how much I hate referees and start talking about who's going to win this Big East tournament. And Michael, you got to stop looking at the statistics. You got to stop looking at the betting odds, who the favorites are. Basketball is a beautiful game where anyone can win on any given night. And that's why the St. John's Johnnies are going to go out there, and they're led by Rick Pitino. You said Dan Hurley's the best coach in
Yes.
in the NCAA. He's not the best coach in this conference.
Are we just gonna act like Mike White doesn't exist?
Yes, we are,
I love
because
Mike
Rick
White.
Pitino completely solos everyone in this conference as a coach. This man has won everywhere he has been, time and time again. Won at Louisville, won at Kentucky, won everywhere he's gone. He's going to win again at St. John's. Give me a Big East Conference title this year. Getting over UConn. Only lost by 6 in their last game against them. Wait, no, they didn't. They got killed. Sorry. That was a different statistic I was looking at.
Yeah, that really
Sorry,
destroyed.
I'm getting my mind crossed. Rick Pitino's not going to let that happen twice. He watched the film. He might be such a good coach that he was sandbagging against UConn the last time they played to get them in the conference tournament. That's the chess that I believe in Rick Pitino playing. That's why, I just think St. John's is a good enough team to go out there and steal a game against UConn.
Give you credit on the fact St. John's did beat UConn earlier this season on February 6th.
Told you.
81-72.
That's the game I was looking at
But
earlier.
Dan Hurley watches his tapes as well.
No.
And after that, wound up getting a 32-point win against the Red Storm.
I don't really trust bald people.
What? I love Josh Pate. What are you talking about?
Elaborate.
Well, I've taught Josh Pate's the original theory of this, where I don't really trust them. And
I'll say Josh Pate, or back in his early days, he was hitting a lot of stuff. Lately, he's gotten kind of off the rails.
He's gotten mainstream. He's not doing the work anymore.
I agree.
That's my take on Josh Pate.
All right, listen. College students who binge drank alcohol at least 3 times per week were roughly 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or project because of drinking. Dream City Brewing Company, Wolf Sports Network, and Wolf Radio proudly remind you to drink responsibly. Students 21 and over should drink responsibly in an environment that discourages overindulging. Faculty won't take hangovers as excuses. Now we're going to go into a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about the SEC tournament here on the Playbook.
Marquette was my Big East dark horse. I didn't get to mention that. I want to. They beat UConn. Shout out them.
Live from Carrollton, Georgia, you are listening to the Playbook, your home for all things college sports. Only on Wolf Sports Network.
Tune in to Wolf Sports Network throughout the week to hear the very best in UWG sports coverage. Catch live shows, score updates, and breaking news all week long. But sometimes seeing really is believing. And now you can watch your favorite Wolf Sports Network shows live on YouTube. Follow at Wolf Sports Network on YouTube as we bring you into the studio with your favorite shows and personalities. Wolf Sports Network. The Wolves play here.
What's up? This is Parker Andell, and I'm the newest voice of Sports Out of Pocket. Step into Lucky Season 7, where the odds are in our favor. Crazy insights, hidden stories, and conversations that will pay off every single time. With a fresh season and a fresh voice, Lucky Sevens is here. Tune into Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesday at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network.
It's a new semester here at West Georgia, and that means a brand new season of Sports Out of Pocket.
I love Jameis Winston to death, but look at the guy. Like, come on, that's not the veteran quarterback that I want to be.
He's a locker room guy.
They got Jonathan Taylor back there. It's like having Saquon, just a little bit worse, but it's like having Saquon.
Tune in to Season 7 of Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesday at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network. Get ready to hit the jackpot. Sports Out of Pocket is back for Season 7. The Lucky Seven's final season with me, Jackson Voles. From wild debates to the boldest takes in the game, Jackson is going all in for his final run. 7 seasons, 1 final spin. Don't miss it. Catch Sports Out of Pocket every Wednesday at 6, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Wolf Radio and Wolf Sports Network are proud to help reduce the 21% of adults with low literacy skills. We are collecting new and gently used books for every UWG pre-K student monthly. Give today by visiting thewolfuwg.com/bookdrive. That's thewolfuwg.com/bookdrive. And guys, there's only one thing that gets me more excited than lowering the illiteracy rate in Carroll County. And that is the West Georgia Wolves baseball team tripled their win total this weekend. How about them Wolves?
That is right. If you don't know, your West Georgia Wolves pick up 2 wins over the Wichita State Shockers this weekend. But that's enough to talk about baseball.
That's it.
Let's talk about some more college basketball because, after all, this is the March Madness special here on the Playbook. And we've talked about the Big Ten. We've talked about the Big 12. We've talked about the Big East. But let's talk about Michael's favorite conference. I know he's smiling.
The greatest
over
conference in the history of time.
I'll tell you what. I'd
The
already talked about the Big
Coast.
I'd fist bump you, but I
Conference.
have Ruben Bain arms. I'm sorry.
Ruben Bain.
What?
Yeah, short arms.
Oh, that's a combine joke.
You guys didn't watch the combine. You guys
The
think that was
NFL
a joke.
combine.
Anyway,
Out of nowhere.
Michael,
That's on you.
who do you have in this SEC tournament?
My heart aches and groans and pains for what I have to say because I
had to
got
pick
to be
the one
honest.
seed.
You know, we have to come out here and we got to talk about it. Yeah, I'm taking the 1 seed because they're freaking ridiculous, Aiden. Nobody in this conference is close to them. The SEC, to me, is a team full of, like, just good – what I would classify as a good team. And there's a lot of just good teams in the SEC. And then you've got Goliath in Florida. Florida's way better than everybody else in this conference. It's not close. I don't care what anyone wants to talk about. Florida beat Alabama like a freaking drum a couple weeks ago. We talked about it on here. Alabama's the 2 seed in this tournament. It's Florida. It's just Florida. They're going to win this thing again. They won it last year. They'll win it again. Back-to-back SEC tournament champions. They've been on an insane run since they started. They started the season off 5-4, but they played a lot of really good basketball teams. We talked about that a whole lot, and they've been, I believe, 25-2 or something like that since that point. They've been absolutely ridiculous. Keep winning basketball games. They're the best team in this conference. Give me Florida.
And who do you think might be your dark horse in this tournament?
If I had to pick one, which to be honest with you, I don't even want to take any of these teams. I really don't think anybody here is going to do that.
Hey.
I could see Texas A&M's a little sneaky to me. They've had spurts this season where they've had some really good basketball and beaten some good basketball teams. I think if they were to get hot, they could possibly make a run at this. But to be honest with you, I don't see it for anybody but Florida.
And JT, who do you have winning this conference?
Yeah, I mean, Michael already mentioned it. This is a conference where there's a lot of really good teams, and then you, of course, have Goliath. That being Florida, of course. They've been on a tear. They're 20-2 in their last 22 games, and just looking at it, like they're absolutely whipping everybody that they've played. And I think the only team that might come close is Alabama as well. But looking at it, I can definitely see a world where Vandy comes out of this tournament at least going to the championship game, and I see them coming out of this tournament on top. So give me Vanderbilt. They're a sneaky team. They do have a bye, but I think that Vanderbilt could be a sneaky team that we could see make a little bit of a run in this tournament. They've been on a little bit of a hot streak more recently. Actually, not really, but give me Vandy.
JT, don't worry.
I'm gonna trust my gut on this one. I trusted it with the pick taking Iowa State, and I just have a gut feeling that Vanderbilt is gonna go out there and who knows, they'll play a good game against Florida, and the winner of Florida and Vandy is gonna go on to win the whole thing.
JT, it's not just your gut that's telling you that this Vanderbilt team is great.
It's whatever's in this thing.
It's your mind, all right? It's the eye test.
My mind's in party mode.
When you see the great March Madness teams, the Cinderella stories, the ones who pull off the big upsets, they share DNA with this Vanderbilt team. They play fast basketball. They shoot a lot of threes. And if they can make them, they can beat anyone. And that is how this Vanderbilt team has operated all year. The shots have gone cold for a little bit of time now. The start of the year where they started out, 17-0? Well, every shot they took was falling. I think they can get back to that spot where they can have a game. They can have 3 games where every shot falls. And I also believe in the Vanderbilt Commodores to go out and win the SEC.
Let's go.
So, a team that started off really hot. Hasn't been so hot lately. Where's black and gold?
We are not talking about Purdue. Purdue has not been they're not a hot team. Vanderbilt has shown
a hot team. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just committing to the bid.
Vanderbilt has shown. I'm playing into it. Vanderbilt has shown that they are a hot team. They've seen what they can do, and I mean they played a close game against Florida already in middle of January, and they only lost by 4 to a team that we said was the Goliath of the SEC right now. And so you're looking at it. Yeah, they've dropped a few games here and there more recently. They're letting off the gas pedal a little bit because they've already clinched their spot in March.
That's right.
And I just think that Vanderbilt's going to go out there and they're going to upset a lot of people, especially Florida fans. And I think that they have a good chance of doing that.
You see, guys, the key to talking about basketball, as I said earlier, the beautiful game, I call it, you can't really be that affected by the statistics, all right? I look at Ken Palm all the time. I'm going to bring up every statistic in the book. But at the end of the day, they don't really matter, okay? Just look at the basketball team and you're like, that team shoots the ball a lot and they're good at it. They're going to win. That's what basketball is at the end of the day. Brandon, who do you think is going to win the tournament?
I look at Purdue and
oh my God, we're talking about the SEC.
All right, the SEC. It brings joy to my heart knowing that Georgia fans are going to have to watch the Florida Gators win the SEC in basketball this season. But my dark horse in this tournament is going to be those Georgia Bulldogs.
They're scared.
There's a guy over there named Blue Kane. I don't know where he came
great
from
guy.
when he transferred over there to Georgia, but he probably came from a really good college team before that one. I think Georgia, they get either Ole Miss or Texas before they get Alabama, and they've beaten Alabama earlier on of this season. I think they just beat them last week.
Spanked them, actually.
And I actually like their odds against Alabama. I'll never trying to buy into a Nate Oates team. I believe in a defense when you play basketball. Georgia, one of the highest offensive ratings in the entire country.
Blue Kane was a Georgia Tech commit who decommitted.
Beautiful
Damon
college.
Stoudemire left him.
He was at a better school before that, IMG Academy.
Yeah, he didn't transfer in. He was a recruit to Georgia. Their highest recruit since Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Georgia, I think,
Go Dogs.
into this quarterfinals, they
Got 'em
draw
playing better than
Alabama.
Anthony Edwards ever did.
And that's a good thing for them because I would take them over Alabama before I would think they'd beat Arkansas, Vanderbilt, or Florida.
Well, that's good thinking because they did beat Alabama.
That's what I just said.
Oh,
that,
sorry.
David.
My bad.
I just said that.
Wow, hand up.
So
Sorry,
I
I'm
think
the
they
wrong
can
world
beat
sometimes.
Alabama, and in this semifinals matchup, they can beat Arkansas.
Already did.
And I hope they do.
Already, yeah. You see,
And then I hope they
Arkansas
advance to the SEC championship game. And then the Florida Gators rip their heart out by making a buzzer beater 3 to win the SEC championship game.
Felipe Franks in the stand. I don't know why that was the mind that came.
Shout out Felipe Franks.
Felipe Franks never beat Georgia, by the way.
But he will. He will.
He'll witness his team beat Georgia
Yep,
in the
there we go.
championship of the
That's all,
SEC
yeah.
We
tournament.
have gone
if
through.
Georgia makes
get
it,
there.
they're not going to make it.
We
but-
have gone through all of the huge conference
Power 5
tournaments that are going to happen over the course of the next week. But the end of the show, real quick, there's 4 definitive teams that I think everybody can say they're leaps and bounds above everybody else in college basketball. And that's in Michigan, Duke, Arizona, and
Georgia.
Florida.
Florida.
Yes. So what's going to happen is all 4 of us are going to draw out of this wolf head over here. And the team that we draw out of those 4, we're going to try and make the best case that we can out of those teams.
Okay.
We're going to start with Aiden
I'll
Aby
go
drawing
first.
the first name.
Here, you can hold it so you know I'm not cheating.
Ooh.
I have drawn the Florida Gators.
Ooh.
Team that I just picked to lose the SEC. That's good stuff. All right. Always been a big Florida fan. Never doubted them.
Yeah.
Stop looking at the
Not even against the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Oh wait, are we go? Am I going right now into the
Yeah,
game?
you're
for
going
it.
sorry, I thought
right
we
now
were-
into why
I
you
thought
think
we
Florida's
were
going to win the
all-
national
I
championship,
thought we
big
were
dog.
all drawing first. All right. This Florida team, 25-6, has absolutely dominated the SEC. We talk about them every time. We bring up the best teams in the country that have been absolutely unmatched against everyone that they've played this season, except for the 6 times that they've lost. They're coming off of the national title last year. You look at the statistics, which I love. Plus 35 on the net rating, the 4th team in the country. This is for why they're winning their conference or why they're winning the national championship?
Why they're winning the national championship.
Oh, I don't have a good case for that. This Florida team is good at everything. They have a balanced team. They can spread the wealth around. They have people who play defense perfectly. They have rebounders who are going to go out there. They've got a great leading scorer named Thomas Howe. He's going to go out there and get him 17 a night efficiently. A lot of efficiency in this team. Efficiency is the name of the game. They're in the trapezoid of excellence, which I ascribe to tremendously. Give me Florida in the national title game for sure.
So I love how you brought up defense and how defense wins championships
right.
in basketball.
That's right.
And I'm going to bring up perhaps the best defensive team in the entire country, and that is going to be the Duke Blue Devils. Listen, you
That
make
is-
all these kind of excuses on how it's all about team basketball
Yep.
once you get to the tournament and all this. What you need is just one big star guy that you can rely on, and that's Cam Boozer for the Duke Blue Devils. I think that defensively, they'll figure it out if he has an off night. They can stop the other team from scoring enough to where Cam Boozer can go and just put up an easy just 15 points And plus, they're the only team out of these 4 to beat 2 of the other teams. They wound up beating Florida earlier this year, and they've beaten Michigan. So they've proved that they can beat these top teams. And I'm going to be honest with you, they wound up beating Arizona in the national championship, I believe, make it 3-0 for the Duke Blue Devils.
Well, Brandon, I'm going to give you a team
that
that we thought – I'm going to give you a team, Brandon, that we thought was the best team in basketball until they did drop their 2 straight games. I'm going to talk about the Arizona Wildcats. Their only 2 losses this season have been against Kansas and Texas Tech, who are 2 teams that are probably going to make a deep run come March. And those games were both close games by 3 points and 4 points. I think this Arizona team is still a top 3 team in basketball. Definitely top 4 easily. That's why we're talking about them. Am I right? I don't think that they're better than Duke and Michigan, but it is March, and
you're not supposed to say that.
And I have a good feeling that Arizona is going to be the team that, teams are going to look over. They're going to look over this team, especially Duke and Michigan. When they look at this Arizona team and Florida, they're going to look at this Arizona team, and they're going to say, oh, this team's not that good. They started to drop a few games later on in the season. I mean, looking at their past games, they beat Iowa State. They killed them, actually. They beat Kansas. They killed them. Arizona, they beat Houston by 7. They ended up beating BYU by 7. They ended off the season kind of strong after dropping those 2 games. In late January, this team was still undefeated. It wasn't until February 9th they dropped their first game of the season, and then they lost the game after that. But then after that, they've looked unstoppable.
Yeah, they played that insane Big 12 schedule.
Yeah, dude.
Can't hold that against them. They're playing the best conference in basketball.
It is the best conference in basketball, 100%.
And
I
they're the
think
number
that
1 team. Sorry, it's your case.
It's my case.
Hey,
and
just another case.
I appreciate you keep looking at Palm. Keep doing your thing.
Another case of a team that started really hot and then simmered down that we believe in.
They did not simmer down though. Arizona didn't simmer down. They dropped 2 games, which is going to happen.
When you're playing in the best conference in basketball.
There was only one team that went undefeated this season. And it was Miami, Ohio. And even Duke,
they're the best team in the country.
Duke, who some teams say is the best team in the country, they dropped 2 games as well, and those were also close games. And I think that Arizona and Duke are those 2 teams that you really want to look out for because their losses are going to be close losses. They're going to stay in those close games. They have that experience, and I think when it comes down to it, and Arizona makes the Final Four, they're going to upset a team like Florida or like Duke or Michigan.
Facts.
Like those teams. I think they have a good shot of upsetting those teams, making it to the championship, and you never know what happens in the championship.
Great case, JT Groves. I've decided I'm going to be the judge now because I had to defend Florida, who's not one of these better teams. Over to you, Michael.
Well, we still haven't talked about the actual best team in college basketball yet, and that is the Michigan Wolverines.
Yep.
They are the most complete team from top to bottom in all of college basketball. One thing that stands out to them between everybody else, they went undefeated on the road this year. People don't know that. They had one little hiccup against Wisconsin earlier this year, lost from. That was at home, though. And then they lost that one game to Duke, obviously a neutral site game over in Washington, D.C., which for some reason we played that game in, what was it, February at the time? I don't know why we're playing.
February.
Yeah, I don't know why we're playing out of conference games in February. I think Aiden, you and I agree on that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why we're playing those
Late
games.
stage capitalism.
I love those. I love those.
It's ridiculous. But anyway, Michigan, you look at how they played all year. Very good team, all top to bottom. But the thing that stands with me is they don't have to rely on that one-star player. When I look at Duke, I think Duke is the most comparable team to Michigan in terms of who I think the best teams are. But if Cam Boozer goes down, then what do? I think Duke falls off a cliff if they don't have Cam Boozer. Michigan doesn't have to rely on that. Michigan can sustain a couple injuries here and there and still be the best team in college basketball. They're complete top to bottom. I love the way their offense plays. I love the way they play defense as well. I think they're just an all-around, like I said,
that's all of it.
Really good basketball team. And they remind me a lot of – they actually remind me a lot of Duke last season because I felt like Duke just – I felt like obviously they had Cooper Flagg as well, but I felt like from top to bottom Duke was still the best team in the country. And they had the injury to Cooper Flagg in the tournament as well, and I felt like just Duke overall top to bottom was the best team in college basketball. And I felt like Florida last year had the potential to be the best team, but they had some holes here and there. That's kind of how I feel about Duke this year. I feel like Duke's kind of the Florida of this year where they got that one big star player. They have some holes here and there, right? I just feel like Michigan doesn't have those holes. I think they're just the most complete team, most dominant team in the country. They've been that all season. And their road record stands out to me because they can play in tough environments. I feel like they can go and have high-pressure situations late in March. And I think that loss to Duke can help them as well have some extra motivation going into the tournament as well.
That's a good call.
All right.
Good
And
take.
before
like
the
that.
end of the episode, a rapid fire. Give me your national championship, starting with JT.
Are we serious, or are we just going with who we want?
Rapid fire. Who's serious?
It's going to be Michigan.
Winner, just the winner, not the matchup.
Yep. Winner of the national championship.
Michigan.
Yeah, I made a case for Michigan being the most complete team right there because I had to. I think the star player matters more in basketball than any other sport. Give me Duke.
Wow.
Like, nope. I'm going to take your Florida Gators, repeating
What?
as a national
Terrible
championship.
take.
Chomp, chomp. And that is going to be it for our
One's
March
getting bounced
Madness
early.
special here on the Playbook. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks because we won't have an episode next week.
Spring break.
Have a
Extra
happy
party
spring
time.
break.